New Orleans podcast just dropped and I've gone straight to the timestamps, and guess what? There's some discussion on the new Grok 4.6 launch and SpaceX in general. Let's see what the guys have to say.
Last issue, what did you think of Grokbot? What did you think of the releases that XAI made this week? I guess it was Grokbot, and then also it was Grok 4.6, right? And people were saying that it is close to the frontier or at the frontier, but a lot cheaper. So I've been maintaining, as of even last week, that we were down to a frontier lab duopoly with Anthropic and OpenAI. Was I wrong about that? Is this number 3? Is it more flexible and fluid than I thought?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think can we show that graph of the Pareto frontier? This is pretty wild. Now, on the left, what this shows is kind of like quality or intelligence on the y-axis and cost on the x-axis. So you want to be in the upper right quadrant. And you can see here, you just want to be on the outside of this. And you can just see like how disruptive Grok 4.6 is pricing.
Right. So as you move right on the x-axis, it's getting cheaper.
It's getting cheaper.
And the y-axis is the capability, and it's getting more and more capable as you move up.
Exactly.
But they invert the x-axis so that as you move to the top right, it's better, right?
Exactly. And I mean, this is on Cursor Bench, and XAI, SpaceX is, almost certain, they have a right to acquire Cursor. They're working with Cursor. So maybe this.
Just a quick update. This podcast obviously recorded moments before the official acquisition has taken place. Cursor is now part of SpaceX. This post roughly 12 hours old as I'm recording this. Let's read it from the official Cursor AI account. Today we have officially closed our acquisition. We will join the SpaceX team to help make Grok the world's most useful AI and improve Grok Build, Grok Bot, Grok API, Cursor, and more. SpaceX has built some of the most inspiring and impressive technology in the world, and we're grateful for the opportunity to become part of such a special company. Onwards. By the way, this is going to go down as one of the all-time acquisitions. The purpose of that detour was just to underscore the fact that Grok 4.6, Pareto dominant, and that's prior to the Cursor acquisition having closed and folding the team in. This is an incredibly positive sign that SpaceXAI can not only play with the best of them, but may be able to carve out a meaningful advantage and capture a big market share. It's still early days, too early to call, but if you haven't noticed, the pace of iteration, new versions, integrations, updates coming within SpaceXAI right now is absolutely insane. It's accelerating. And again, that's prior to the Cursor acquisition having just closed. Bottom line, SpaceXAI's AI model business could be the big upside surprise no one saw coming.
This is grading your own homework. Well, right here on the right, this is from Databricks, which just raised money at $190 billion. This is a very real company that is very sophisticated. And you can see, like, even on this, you're well ahead of Fable 5, which, I think most people would kind of agree is the, the gold standard. Like, this is, you're higher quality at a slightly lower price.
So just to be clear, these are two independent benchmarks using their own methodology, both of which Grok 4.6 is dominating. On Cursor Bench, Grok 4.6 is the most intelligent model, only just, but at a fraction the cost of Fable 5. A fraction. Again, we're looking $20 roughly over here, down to about a few cents per task. No other model on Cursor Bench is as intelligent, but Grok 4.6 is also a fraction the cost of the second most intelligent and third most intelligent models available. There's no compromise with Grok 4.6. You're not compromising intelligence for a lower cost. You can have the best intelligence and a meaningfully lower cost. This is crazy. On the right, with the Databricks benchmarks, Grok 4.6, look at the caption, has pushed the Pareto frontier even higher, meaningfully more intelligent than the next best model. And it's cheaper to use. This is an incredible moment. And I have plenty of hands-on experience using Grok 4.6. I did a bunch of testing on Grok 4.5 ahead of time, knowing that 4.6 was around the corner. Examples include using the Grok app to one-shot some very simple games. Make me a blackjack game, a Monopoly game, a Doom clone. I also had Grok 4.5 built, running a bunch of deep analyses on my 20-year ETHEREUM SpaceX valuation model. Not just front-end stuff, but behind the scenes, can we improve our processes for actually rendering a new version of the model each time? So there's less errors and bugs, double checking required. I got to a point with Grok 4.5 that I'd exhausted everything. It's like, bro, sorry, but there's nothing else I can think of or do that would improve our processes at all. Soon as Grok 4.6 drops, I run the same tasks, one-shot me a Monopoly game, a Blackjack game, a Doom clone. Vastly better results. I then jump over to Grok Build 4.6 through Terminal. Revisit the 20-year Tether and SpaceX valuation model processes. Grok Build 4.6 after 4.5 said, brother, 0, can't come up with anything else. Grok 4.6, same prompt, not 0, but 30 different suggestions, all of which we've since implemented. By the way, if you want to see the model, check out the link below for more info. Just head to patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem. 4.6 is a meaningful leap in terms of intelligence and capability. This is not an incremental update. It is a big leap forward. 4.5 was already Pareto dominant. 4.6 has pushed that further ahead. And just in case you haven't been paying attention, Grok 4.7 is coming in 3 to 4 weeks. And Elon Musk says it will be significantly better than Grok 4.6, which, just for the record, as we've seen per the benchmarks, is currently turkey slapping the entire model industry across the face on price performance and frontier intelligence. All right, back to the pod.
So I think Grok 4.6 is, the numbers are the numbers. On X, I think we put it down. People, we do have to wait and see the vibes, but I think it's pretty interesting. DHH, who I think created Ruby on Rails.
David Hanmeyer Hansen.
Yeah, he posted something really positive. Basecamp. The DHH, David Hanmeyer Hansen.
37 signals. Great.
37 signals, Basecamp, yes. He posted something really positive. You saw the Databricks evaluation. You saw our Mercor evaluation. And I think the early vibes are really good, and these benchmark scores are bearing out in the real world.
Elon has caught up, in other words. And if you were to attribute why he's caught up, it would really be 2 reasons. Number 1, he bought Cursor. He's got that team. They're a dialed-in team. Number 2, he reshuffled the management of XAI and brought in his killers from SpaceX. Yeah, Gavin, those are the 2 reasons.
Absolutely. He brought in the SpaceX aces, along with the Cursor aces and some new people. And
he did that in 6 short months, Gavin. Never count Elon out. He's frequently late. He's never wrong.
It is amazing what a bunch of gigabrains can do under excellent leadership. At the beginning of 2023, XAI didn't even exist. The company's only around 3.5 years old. To put that in context, OpenAI's ChatGPT launched in 2022. So XAI formed the following year after the ChatGPT that literally was the ChatGPT moment. Anthropic was founded at the beginning of 2021. So XAI, now SpaceXAI, is formed a couple of years after Anthropic, the year following the release of ChatGPT from OpenAI, and has now leapfrogged everyone based on these benchmarks. This is incredible. And again, that's Elon Musk for you.
He tends to over-deliver when it does come. And that's to his own admission. He's like, I'm always late, but we get it right eventually. Yeah?
Absolutely. And this is still a relatively small model. It's 1.5 trillion parameter models. A larger model, Grok 4.7, that should be significantly more capable, is coming out, in a few short weeks. Grok Bot seems just as important. It feels kind of like another OpenClaw moment for AI, for this kind of personalization of AI, of making it democratizing AI, making
the
it
same
easy
thing that Zuckerberg said in his manifesto. He wants to create
Absolutely.
bots for everybody.
Yes.
And that's what Claude Cowork and Claude Tag both do exceptionally well, as well as Hermes, Perplexity Computer, and
I'm just going to admit, for me, some of those are and I try to be very technical, but Grok Bot
too hard to use. Yeah.
Not too hard to use, but it feels much easier to use for
Grok Bot is
non-coders.
much easier to use.
Grok Bot is much easier to use.
OpenClaw and Hermes, you need to be...
Hermes?
You're
buying a scarf?
Yeah, that's what I called them. They're Hermes. They're just like the
That's
Prita.
very funny.
If you've ever had that channel, it's like that.
Yeah.
Facts. Like our wives order some channel once in a while, and they break us.
The point Jason was getting at before they got sidetracked was that today, generally speaking, in order for you, a user, a consumer, to even be able to access, let alone utilize fully, tools like coding agents and the AI agents themselves, at the very least, you need to have been nicked by the TISM, if not completely one-shot. This is changing. But right now, there is a genuine obstacle to a typical normie that isn't an engineering type or a developer from using these tools. A few weeks back, a massive milestone from SpaceXAI when they integrated Grok Build 4.5 into the Grok app and website. Prior to then, you needed to be able to use Terminal, type a bunch of code, Neo in the Matrix type shit, just to use 4.5. Next minute, it's available in the app. This was a big moment and necessary to massively increase utilization. Grokbot is a similar leap forward in terms of accessibility and usability. This is a very clear signal that the SpaceXAI team are not intent on just making tools for a narrow, niche, certain type of consumer, but to democratize these, make them available to everyone, even your grandmother.
It is pretty amazing that in 6 months he caught up. But Sachs, this creates a tension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This does create a little tension. He's hosting Anthropic. He's catching up to Anthropic. What do you think about that tension here, that he's there, Amazon Web Services, Elon Web Services, at the same time as competing with them increasingly?
What I love about it is that he's creating these huge compute clusters, right? And that gives him the ability to train a big model, a big potentially frontier model. So that you can think of that's like the call option is to catch up and become a true frontier lab. But if he fails at that, he's got the put option of just selling the compute at pretty attractive prices to the frontier labs.
And he has the right, Sachs, to take that compute back from Anthropic. He put that clause, according to reports, into the Anthropic deal, so he could take back compute if he wants to.
Right. Both sides have a 90-day cancellation, which means that if the spot price of compute goes up, he benefits. If it goes down, by the way, it could hurt him because either side could renegotiate within 90 days, right? So basically, Elon is able to charge spot minus 90. So that's the risk. But it all goes back to what we were talking about before, which is, do you think that compute will be supply constrained going into next year and the year after? And if so, that's a very advantageous dynamic for Elon because, again, he's very close to charging true spot for his compute, but he can also essentially reroute it to his own service if he's able to take the lead.
Yeah. And
this puts SpaceXAI in an extremely dominant position. My thesis is that demand for intelligence, the majority of which will be AI, takes a lot longer to cook up a human than it does an AI. Demand for intelligence, meaning AI, will be near infinite for decades to come, which means demand for compute, for training and inference of AI will be near infinite for decades to come, which means that if you had the ability to rapidly and affordably scale AI compute, you would have near infinite demand to access your AI compute for decades to come. The added bonus of owning the AI compute itself is that you can reserve an allocation for your own training and inference needs and offer leasing to other companies, allowing you or them, but it's in your favor, the option of winding up a deal on 90 days notice in case, for example, you may need an enormous increase in access to compute for training and inference for your own models. Best of both worlds. The craziest part about all of this is that if SpaceXAI completely fails and loses in the AI model layer, Grok just fizzles into nothing. Unlikely, but you never know. It doesn't at all change the SpaceX investment thesis, which is dominated, at least in my model, over the next 20 years by AI compute. That said, would any reasonable person expect the SpaceXAI team not to have meaningful success when it comes to the AI models themselves? David Sachs made a great point about the options.
Can I say what's interesting? Sorry to interrupt, but
No,
I talked to a lot of investors about SpaceX, okay?
Yeah.
And what's just amazing to me is everyone will have a nuanced view on Starlink. Maybe they're a skeptic on Starlink direct to cell. I think the plan to use kind of these distributed Starlink, effectively almost, we'll call them small cells, femtocells, is interesting. Everybody will have a nuanced view on orbital compute. Whether they're bullish or bearish, they will have a view. They'll have a view on terrestrial compute. Very few of these investors talk about Grok at all. And it is Pareto dominant on a lot of measures. And we have an existence proof that Anthropic went from whatever it is, $1 billion to 50 billion really fast. And if Anthropic is worth, with $2 trillion per the FT, 3 or 4 trillion, maybe
according to yourself on a previous episode,
will settle out.
Yeah.
I said I thought that was a market clearing price. I didn't say that's where I thought it was worth. Maybe people should start to consider Grok when they think about SpaceX.
SpaceX has so many ways to win, and I think that's the higher bit here is, and We're obviously all talking our book here. The folks on this podcast are amongst the earliest investors in SpaceX.
I was part of leading, a small part of leading the second round of 10 billion.
Low key flex there from Gavin. 10 billion to what are we at now? Nearly 2 trillion. Not a bad return. Gavin's point, not much discussion about the models themselves. He's right. Although there wasn't much discussion about the AI compute opportunity until the Q2 SpaceX earnings call either. Should have been, but wasn't. For the record, I'm intentionally, massively lowballing, underestimating the potential success for SpaceXAI in the AI model layer in my own 20-year ETHEREUM SpaceX valuation model. Not because I don't think they could be extremely successful, but because I'm trying to bake in some non-dominance. I mean, launch, dominant. Starlink, dominant. AI compute, on and off Earth, dominant. Grok, also dominant. I mean, come on, bro. Probably true, but if I don't intentionally build in some kind of massive underestimate so they're not dominating literally everything they touch, I think the credibility for the model will be out the fucking window. But I do want to, and have already been flagging this, it's an intentional lowball, and it's the biggest upside variable. If the SpaceXAI team does have some meaningful success, let alone the potential of a major success or domination with the AI models, all bets are off. I think the best advice I can give to a SpaceX investor or potential investor is to be using the suite of Grok tools. Grok for language, Grok Imagine for image and video generation, Grok Voice, and if you're autistic enough, Grok Build and the Grok agents. Pay attention not only to their current capabilities, but the rate of improvement from version to version and the increasing cadence of updates. As I'm recording this currently, Grok is Pareto dominant, best bang for buck, most intelligence for the money you spend, and it's not even close. Second place is so far behind, they almost need a telescope to see Grok. If the SpaceXAI team can keep this up, this could be the biggest upside surprise, and one whose magnitude will absolutely stun. And if you guys want to see my regularly updated 20-year Tesla and SpaceX valuation model, which admittedly is intentionally lowballing the AI model success with SpaceXAI, check out the link below or head to patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem. It's available to everyone at the investor level and above. Thanks for watching. If you appreciate the content and want to support the channel, check out the links below where you can get early access to daily videos, unlock hundreds of exclusive pieces of content, and plenty more. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.